In this lesson, we're going to talk about specific heat and how it works with temperature changes. And so the specific heat is defined as the amount of heat per unit mass required to raise the temperature of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. And the equation that we use in problems with specific heat is Q is equal to mc delta T, where Q is the amount of heat added or lost, M is just the mass, C is our specific heat, and delta T is the change in temperature. And so some common specific heat values that you can use in problems are, like for water, the specific heat is 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius, or it can also be written as 4.186 joules per gram degree C. So those are the two different types of units that you'll use for specific heat when you're using this equation. So now if we look at a couple problems, the first one asks, does it take more energy to heat copper or water? And so if we look at water, we look at copper, we'll start off with our basic equation. Q is equal to mc delta T for both of them. And in order to kind of make this problem kind of general so we can get things to cancel a little better, we'll say our initial temperature for both substances will be 0 degrees Celsius, and our final temperature for both substances will be 1 degree Celsius. So delta T for both is just going to be a value of 1. So that'll cancel in both cases because it's equal. And then we're also going to have the mass be equal to 1 gram for each. So our masses in both our water and our copper are going to cancel. So we're left with Q is equal to C in both situations. And so like we said before, for water, our specific heat value is 4.186 joules. And if we look up the specific heat of copper, we will find that it is 0.385 joules. So this tells us that water requires more heat energy to raise its temperature. So that is how we would solve that problem. The next problem says if we add 30 joules of heat to a 10 gram sample of aluminum, how much would its temperature increase? So again, we'll start with our Q is equal to mc delta T equation. We're going to rearrange this so we can solve for our change in temperature. So that'll be equal to Q over mc. So our change in temperature, we know that we're adding 30 joules of heat, so that's our Q. Our mass is 10 grams. And aluminum, if we look up its specific heat value, we will find it's 0.902 joules per gram degree Celsius. So working this out and getting our units to cancel out, we find that the temperature will increase 3.33 degrees Celsius when you add that amount of heat to the specific sample of aluminum. So this is how we use specific heat in solving problems relating temperature changes.